Hey guys, I'm Dave and welcome to the Trull Gallery. Today, I'm going to explain to you my design process. I know everyone has their own way of working and designing is no different. And while I may design on the fly for a shop project, for a client's project, I might have to get more specific. And if that project is a built-in, I may have to get very specific. I'll use two projects to explain my methods. The first is a backpack area that I did a couple of years ago. The second is a built-in living room project that I've just started. My work starts with three things: conversation with the client, taking a few pictures, and then measurements. Lots and lots of measurements. Conversation with the client is key. What are they looking for? What features do they want? What kind of finish are they after? More often than not, they give me a picture to give me the basic idea of what they're after. In the case of the backpack area, she'd seen one I built for a friend of hers and wanted one just like it, only different. In the case of the built-in living room piece, they sent me a picture that was from Pinterest or Instagram or something like that. And because I've been doing this for a while, I can often see things they can't or offer features that they weren't even thinking about. The pictures I take are reminders for me. What does the space look like? Are there obstacles I need to work around? Outlets? Switches? Is there trim I need to match or details I need to know about? The pictures are there to help my somewhat questionable memory. For a freestanding piece, measurements may not be that critical, maybe just a general idea of how large the piece is going to be. If it's a built-in, those measurements become very important. It's not uncommon for me to miss a measurement or two on that first visit, and I usually notice them as I start the drawing. I'll often go back for a second or third site visit just to make sure I get everything just right. It's much easier to make corrections now than before the piece is assembled. I'm looking for more than just the wall length. I look at other things like corner angles, wall height, window locations, trim, the location of switches and outlets. And I think the more I do this, the fussier I get. With all that information, it's time to start drawing. And yes, back in the day it was pencil and paper, but I've since switched to a CAD program and it just makes things much easier. There are a lot of great programs out there. I happen to use SketchUp, and like most of them, this allows me to work in 3D. These programs allow you to add colors or textures, and they'll leave you with a very good representation of what the piece is going to look like. I can take those drawings and share them with my client to make sure that what I'm drawing is what they want me to build. The first step in my process is to draw the space that I have to work with. This first image is the backpack area, and it was literally just the basic information I needed to get started. The second sketch is for the living room built in, and you can see I've added a lot more detail. I've included outlets, the alarm panel, door locations, even colors and textures. Some of these details are there to help me during the design process. Others will come in later to give the client a good idea of the big picture. Now we can begin to draw the piece. Going back to the backpack area, they requested a large, tall cabinet on the left-hand side, so let's drop that in. Next came the bench that would fill the space between the tall cabinet and the little closet off on the side. After that, there was a space above the bench for extra storage, so we'll drop that in as well. After that, it's just a matter of filling in the details. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole detail of how to use SketchUp or CAD drawings. There are plenty of great tutorials out there. This is just kind of the basics of how I work through the problem of design. I now have an image that I can show to my client, and we can make any changes necessary here. And again, it's much easier to make those changes here on paper than it is once we actually start construction. It's not unusual to go back and forth 3 or 4 times until it's just what the client's looking for. Initially, I draw to get the final look of the piece. Now I can go back and deconstruct that drawing and figure out how to build it. I can determine panel size, joinery, dimensions, all the important details I need to build this piece. From here, each piece is sized, sorted by material, and dropped into a spreadsheet. This may not be high tech, but I've been using this for years and it works for me. The spreadsheet not only gives me a cut list to work from, but it's also a great tool to help me estimate the cost and the final sale price of the piece I'm building. Remember that your spreadsheet is only as good as the information you put in. If you don't list a piece of hardware, or forget to update the cost of a material, or underestimate your labor time, that'll all affect your bottom line. With all the details worked out and the client has signed off on the design, all the hard work is behind us. All we have to do now is build the piece. And if all goes well, that final piece will look just like the drawing and we'll all live happily ever after. And who knows, you may get invited back to build another piece. In the case of the backpack area, this was the first of several pieces I did for that client. And again, if all goes well, once that living room piece is complete, that could be the first of many pieces I do for them. I just need to heal up enough to actually build it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. How is your design process different than mine? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you haven't already, maybe it's time to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you get notified each time I put out a new video. As usual, I don't have a clue what's coming up next, and I'm still extremely limited on what I can do in the shop. But we'll think of something, and with any luck, it'll be interesting. So until then, have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.